pDAI will have more buyers at $1 than it has today. This is a very special, controversial episode, friends. Yes, it is very controversial. I mean, I even start my postie warning controversy. I mean, there's a lot of controversy with that statement. And when you look at the chart, you can tell there's a lot of a controversy here. It makes sense too, right? Something drops minus 99.94% and then rallies literally 10,000x from the low. Richard Hart chain, Richard Hart coin. Remember I told you, friends, a secret, the magic. It's all happening, okay? So this is extremely important. I think Richard's got it all figured out. Remember, it's on PulseChain, the world's strongest neo-religion, and HEX is a better Bitcoin, and then it's all going to be trading on the PulseX DEX, the PulseX yield farm. So you got to understand the gravity of this situation. I'm saying Richard's figured it all out. I'm just stuttering. pDAI will have more buyers at $1 than it does today at 1.5 cents. Yes. Yes, you see, friends, everyone thinks pDAI is going to dump hard when it goes to $1. And a lot of people, friends, people believe it's just going to wake up one day and it's a peg. It might have to do this over time. It might have to do that. Ding! It might have to do that. Okay, I don't know. It might, people just say, hey, we'll wake up one day and it just gaps up. I don't know, okay? Obviously, I hope it goes there straight away, but this is obviously Richard, friends. I like making these pictures of him. Richard, the great, the conqueror, parting the seas. Yes, yes. This is the metaphor that we're playing with. But Richard, friends, he actually figured out pDAI will have more buyers up there. How? How is that? Well, people will swap from their stable coins on Ethereum. So USDT, USDC, Ethereum DAI, okay? They're not earning any yield on them. So he's going to incentivize them to hold pDAI. And he'll be giving them a yield by incentive token. All right? So I can almost imagine Richard saying, he could be saying this. He'd be saying, why wouldn't you move your stable coins into pDAI at that point? Why? Why wouldn't you? Like, I'm giving you yield. Money's being handed to you, okay? So we'd see these yield farms appear, right, on PulseX. And obviously, maybe other pages and stuff. Yes, but that's pretty much in a nutshell what it would be, okay? And I want you to know that he's done this before, all right? So it's not like we're like betting on like, oh, he has done something before in terms of, friends, I'm just going to imagine this to you. Imagine you were in the war room. It's just you and Richard, okay? You and Richard. And he says to you, because I'm saying, he says, I have Ethereum raised from the HEX ICO, okay? So I have ETH raised here. So I'm going to actually bring ETH, the logo. I raised 150,000 ETH here. When Ethereum hits $4,000, I will rotate the ETH and then HEX is going to pump up, okay? I can imagine him saying that. And I can imagine him also then revealing, we're going to do a PulseChain sacrifice, all right? And that actually, if you know, friends, that happened on the date here. We're going to do a sacrifice for another chain. And up here for PulseX, okay? So 2 sacrifices. Now, instantly, what would all of us say? All of us would have said, remember, you're in still 2020. It hasn't pumped yet. You would say, like me, not going to work because you've pumped up HEX. People are then going to dump it and run off. That didn't happen. Okay, what actually happened, friends, is, and I can change it on a daily chart. Let's put on the daily chart and let's put it on a log so we can see what actually happened, friends, is people didn't dump it and run off. In fact, what they did is, okay, they bought more. So this is 2021 beginning. Look at this. This might be where like pDAI is right now. It feels like hopefully pDAI, friends, cracked this 1 cent mark. So this, it finally leaves this 1 cent, comes back down here and then shoots up. Now, the PulseChain sacrifice was here. You see that? So people get the idea, oh, there's going to be a sacrifice. And then bang. Now, but you got to understand, look at this distance, bro. This is like, friends, this is a distance of like 10x, which is funny. It might be if people catch wind of pDAI, it'd be funny if pDAI goes to like 10 cents. Just interesting numbers that we're playing here with. Okay, so people around here. So I'm imagining the doubters saying it won't work. And then look what ends up happening. He pumps up HEX and then people sacrifice it. They sacrifice it. Why? They want to get into PulseChain. They want the sacrifice points. Yes? They want to be getting PulseChain. So he pumps something up and they're like, oh my gosh, now I'm rich. Now I'm going to go spend it on something which is into the next level of the game. You see? So I got a feeling it's going to happen again. pDAI goes to $1. All of us today think it's all going to go to zero. No, it goes to $1. But then there's farms to play the next level of the game. Okay. So remember, friends, when HEX was this price, 3 zeros and a 5, people thought that 1 cent was too much. Let me just show you now. So here we are right now. Look at this. This is HEX, 3 zeros and a 5. This is the price here. Okay. So people thought, hey man, when we can't go to 1 cent, it's too high. But look what ends up happening, my baby dolls. Look what ends up happening from here. Bang. It goes up to, here we go, where's 1 cent? It hits 1 cent up there. 20x, you see? Friends, you gotta imagine, man, it hits 1 cent, everyone's mind's blown. Okay, hit 1 cent, what's next? Oh, if you don't think 1 cent can ever happen, you're like, oh, definitely like 3 cents is like way too high then. Okay, it goes to 3 cents. Look here, it goes to 3 cents. Next stop, 5, 7. Look at that, 8, 9, 10, 11, see that? So what actually ends up happening is people buy HEX harder at 5 cents than they did at like half a cent, right? Or even less. They bought it harder up there. And yeah, we have an evidence, friends. There was one gentleman, I'm not going to name his username because I don't want to, he's like a Mexican, okay? This gentleman up here, friends, he put I was actually around 10 cents. Around the 10 cents here, he sold $2 million of Bitcoin and he bought in HEX. Okay, he's still holding now. So he rotated $2 million of Bitcoin and bought in HEX. You want to know why? I made a post on him ages ago. He thought Elon Musk was shilling HEX because Elon said, I have a fondness of HEX. And this is the tweet right now. Look at this. I have a fondness for HEX. Isn't that funny? And I've quickly made a funny post here. Even Elon Musk knows HEX is a better Bitcoin. Of course, friends. You see, but that's why he's like, and this same gentleman, he messaged Richard Hart as well, saying like, is it a good idea to buy? And I think it was like, it's interesting, right? Just throw in $2 million, right? And think about the price it was buying, like 14 cents. We're like, hey, I thought 1 cent was possible. Now we're putting millions of dollars in at 14 cents. Yeah, but, oh man, that's nuts. That's Michael Saylor though. He said Bitcoin was going to go the way of online poker when it was like $500. Okay, now it's literally up 200x higher, and he just put in 5 billion, 200x higher, man. That's nuts. You see, so this is the HEX price chart, the glory, the nice glory there. So Richard's, he's done it before, right? He's done it before. People buy assets higher, okay, and the higher they go, they pay more for them. They keep paying more, yeah? It's reflexive, right? So friends, PulseChain, you can imagine, is like a little bucket. And it's only 1% of the ocean. The other 99% of the ocean, that's the liquidity that's going to flow into the chain. So everybody who rotates their USD stablecoins into pDAI, when it's at $1, they will not only help promote the peg, but it will also skyrocket the mind share of the chain. So it's reflexive because everybody's holding the, it's just like Luna with UST, friends. Like Luna UST, they helped Luna price. You see, everyone's buying stuff as a proxy for it. So UST, it started at $1. Right, because you couldn't do anything with it. But as people like, hey, I want to earn yield on it. Yeah, Luna's price was going nuts. I'll show you. And this is the price chart here for Luna, friends. Look at this, man. It actually dipped below its ICO. I mean, from the bottom, friends, Luna did a whopping, man. I think it was like 800x, 900x, man. That's crazy. So it went from a bottom of 12 cents, pretty much $120. Yeah, it did 1,000x from the bottom. Yeah, it was also rough because what ended up happening is I knew somebody, friends, we know someone put in like 10 grand here. He had like 1.8 or 1.2 million here, and then he bought this on the way down. He lost everything. He bought half of it on the way down. He lost everything, and then he had the other half in UST earning yield. So he got destroyed. But that's the thing, man. Luna's supply goes up to defend this peg. So with pDAI, there's nothing. You can't mint a more. You can't like mint HEX or something to defend a peg or anything, right? There's no algorithm for it. So I've got to remind you, yes, friends, the Luna. So Tether. Let's look at Tether. Tether and Coinbase, USDC, their customers earn no yield. Tether have 150 billion. That's why, friends, look, man, he's trying to, friends, remember when Richard's gone for the vampire? Look at Tether, man. Tether have $132 billion there. That's $132 billion of money earning no yield for a stable coin. So he's basically, friends, I could just tell Richard, he's like, hey, if you are one of the $130 billion of people, why are you sitting in something with no yield? Why don't you come peg it to another stablecoin? Peg it. It will be ready pegged. Why don't you come bond it with another stablecoin or join this yield farm? People will do it. Of course they will. Of course they will. And all he's got to do, that's why, friends, incentive token has to be cranked up to give up the yield. That's why INK is important. And I know we have a lot of INK fans on the channel as well. And so everyone loves whenever I put the INK chart up. This is the log INK chart. Yeah, man. So friends, yeah, of course INK can get to $100. Of course it can. Crank everything up, right? There's many more things coming. So this is all part of the grand plan. So Richard Hart's going to give them yield. Ah, man, it's wild because you're earning yield in a stablecoin, right? And we know, friends, Ethereum has like 70 billion plus of stablecoins sitting in there, you know? So, man, so by the way, when they bridge over, friends, all that volume, just think about this, okay? Think about this, okay? $1 billion, you know, if you get $1 billion of the stablecoin in, yeah, when they come in, they're going to have to swap on PulseX. You see? Now, they're going to pay a smaller fee to move around in it, but you get the point. See how everyone's going to be swapping and moving farms? That's billions of dollars of volume coming in. It's 69 billion. Not all of them's going to come in. Maybe you only get like 2 billion or something. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. That's huge. It's already a big pump already. Just think like 1 billion. Oh, that's big. And I can also imagine Eric Wall, who watches my channel. Eric Wall will write an essay about how it's a fractional reserve Ponzi. But actually, Eric Wall said he bought some pDAI already because he doesn't want to miss out this time. This is a cute pDAI logo. It actually is true, friends. All right? It actually is true. So look, it's binary at this point. Okay, so let me get the pDAI price chart. Okay, sweet, man. Here's your, either it goes, let's get the ruler out. Either it goes, here you go, all the way up to $1. Here's your 60x, or you lose everything. All right, so that's it. All right, here's your 60x to $1 or 0, and that's it. All right, you're risking 1 unit to make 60 if it works out. But then that begins the moon phase for PulseChain. So if you're in the core coins, you don't have to worry about that. You're just trusting Richard Hart. But that's right, friends. I'm here. I can see the vision. I'm like, okay, I can see it. So shout out to obviously Decentralize Me. Friends, people are saying this. I know, friends, there's whispers from God. There's whispers from Richard Hart. Okay, this is not... See all these assumptions I'm throwing out here too, even though Richard would say, hey, but I told you this, but I told you that. But no. There's some big brass ball action going on when it comes to the assumptions that these things are going to work. You need experience from this. Only Richard Hart has it. And as I've shown you many times, man, it's very obvious, friends. HEX and pDAI are first cyclers, okay? This is the HEX first cycle. See that? It drops 98%. 3 waves up, smash up. pDAI drops 99.94%. 3 waves, smash up. You see that? It's what I call the Richard Hart signature move. It's shake out all the non-believers, not just a little shake out. My gosh, that's what I've written. Watch my videos, friends. I said, it's not just any shakeout, man. It's an apocalyptic shakeout. Okay, it's literally God says, I'm literally wiping all of you. Here's a giant tsunami to come and just crush the non-believers. This was also interesting, right? If you swapped into pDAI on day 1 of PulseChain, you are now up 6x. Okay, look at this. So look at this. It drops 99.94% and then it comes back. You want to know what's even more? This is funny, right? So if you had $1,000 and you swapped it to pDAI, it went down to 60 cents. 60 cents. You're $1,000 up here. You're now worth 60 cents. The $1,000 comes back, and now you actually have $6,000. That's right. $1,000, 60 cents, $6,000. It's a Richard Hart signature move, man. Richard Hart signature. By the way, there's a gentleman out here. He says, no, that pDAI and that HEX chart, they're not the same chart, Habib. Do you want me to show you what other charts do when they drop 99%, friends? I'll show you. Let's look at SHIB. SHIB dropped 99%. Okay, what we can do is we can actually go to the daily chart of SHIB and actually go to the beginning see this, friend? This is a 99% drop. See that? This looks absolutely nothing like Richard Heart, okay? This is not Richard Heart's signature, okay? You drop down, you die for, friends, this is literally 6 months. You're dead for 6 months, and then you gap up through the high. Now have a look at that chart I showed you. You see? This thing, see, friends, this is a hockey stick. This is a literal hockey stick. And there are, I know this is a weekly chart, but there's 3 waves here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that's pretty much, see, you're starting to see that. There are other coins that have dropped 98, 99%, but they don't look like the HEX and pDAI chart. No, they don't. Also, shout out to Mr. 9 Iron Capital here. Friends, there was some like coding done by Richard or the dev teams, or the people want to let us know what's going on. They minted 14,800 Pulse or pDAI, 14,800 pDAI at the time, and I think it exactly equaled $1. Okay, exactly the Pulse to pDAI ratio that equals $1. See, so they basically, it was like a code. Hey, I'm minting $1 worth. And to do the minting, they put Gnosis, so the PulseChain version of Gnosis token, they put it into the vault, and they were able to mint $1 pDAI. So friends, you know, when this is all happening, okay, you got to remember what it all leads to. So if you're in PulseChain community, I'll play some nice Pumpy G music for you. You know, if you're okay, you don't want to take the risk. Sweet. I just want to remind you of something, okay? I want to remind you of something. You took infinite risk when you bought HEX, okay? You had the guy in the top hat who the rumor was Richard lost all his Bitcoin and that he was just using people's Ethereum to make it back. Okay, so you took infinite risk. You had to have a leap of faith, okay? By the way, the chart, he sent the chart down 98%. You see, you had to take a leap of faith. You saw all that. And then he's telling you to lock your money up for 10 years. You took a leap of faith. I'm just telling you now, pDAI community, same thing. It's the same thing. A leap of faith, you just have to take a leap of faith, okay? Also want to show you that this is what happens if you get pDAI to $1. Okay, you get the Hyperloop, where Pulse can like hit 1 cent or half a cent, okay? Pulse is 0.01. 170x pump, down 98%. You see that? Magic. So that's what it would allow you to do. So there is like a big pump waiting. This is the PulseX price chart. It can do 1000x from the low, which is 70x day one sack. That's what he could do with these, okay? Because and because he owns 12 billion of the pDAI. You see, he has 55% of the supply. So when he goes and backs it as much as he can, that's right, friend. The speculation is, I know it looks like magic now. It looks like magic, okay? But the speculation is now, when will the peg occur? Because you need Ethereum at $55,000 to back everything, okay? But friends, like I've shown you, Tether only dropped 25% of its supply in a stablecoin crisis in freaking 2022. Luna depegged only 25%. And isn't that wild? In a bear market, we had a stablecoin crisis. Everything was imploding, and you earn no yield for your Tether. And we only had 25% redemption. So people seem to just believe, I guess, no matter what happens to them, right? So this Hyperloop, what would it do, friends? If the first pump ignites, he can mint pDAI. So obviously the origin address placed in the maker vault, he can mint pDAI. Okay, remember, and just to remind you, it can't get like liquidated and then everybody else gets to buy those tokens. Okay, it doesn't work like that. They're personal vaults, personal. They're never shared with anybody else. Okay, so it can mint pDAI, it can buy the bags, and then it sends them up, and then it can mint more pDAI and do it. So it's a Hyperloop. So yeah, when it unwinds, I guess it'll be nasty, but we're here for the giant pump, aren't we? Okay, so this can like take HEX to $3, etc. And I even wrote here, okay, you might not be interested in the people's Bitcoin on PulseChain and then the normal wrapped Bitcoin, okay? You might not be interested if their yield is like 2%. Okay, but what if Richard makes the yield 270% because Ink's price is so high? You see, now people are coming in and they'll swap in and they'll basically, they peg it themselves. That's what I'm talking about. So that basically what you're saying is, what I'm telling you is, the people's Bitcoin, PWBTC, PulseChain Bitcoin, it will have more buyers at $100,000 than it has at what its price is now, which is around $1,600. Here you go, right here. You see? So over time, friends, that's why it's all about the incentives and the farming. Also, I want to remind you of something special as well, friends. If you could go back and listen to Richard Hart's streams about PulseChain, he's very fascinated about this idea of maintaining a peg with fractional reserve, okay? Because like Tether, friends, Tether maintained the peg, they have fractional reserve. You didn't actually need all the collateral there. Okay, so he's obviously figured out how much fractional reserve you need for pDAI, and he's got the sacrifice funds to do it, okay? So he was very curious, right? How much you need to maintain a peg? It definitely wasn't, you don't need 100% to maintain a peg because all the ratios, all the pair bonding. And he talked about, you know, Tether, as I mentioned, they still stayed $1 because people simply believed in them. And they were right. Tether, even in 2022 bear market, had $1 believers, right? As I mentioned for you before. So this is what a farm would look like. I'm just showing you. He said this WBTC, PWBTC, for example, and you're earning ink. So that's people, if they'd move in their wrap Bitcoin and they're like, oh, I'm here to farm and take the other side of this thing. That's what you're here for. World's biggest airdrop, right? You know, Richard also said on stream, how big does the liquidity market get for E token and P tokens? How big does it get? Because basically everyone's coming in to earn yield on their thing and they're swapping in for the same price. You get it? But you need to get that pDAI $1 peg first. You got to get them in a peg and then they move in. You see, it's like a snowball effect. So, all right, imagine pDAI at $1, which is smashing up incentive token to incentivize all those liquidity providers. All right, and I'll talk about the Hyperloop here as well. So that's what the chart will look like. It literally looks like Hyperlooping to the moon. And what I'm going to do, friends, I'm going to end it here with this clip. Just listen to Richard, okay?
So what happens when USDC gets forked onto Pulse, but is not redeemable for dollars? I bet you the price isn't zero. Does it stay $1? Let's take Tether. Tether had fractional reserve. May still have. Nobody knows. They got $650 million seized from a Polish bank by the Polish government. Then they had a token sale, the Leo token, to make up the difference. But they were fractionally reserved and still held their peg. So how fractionally reserved can a stablecoin get and still hold its peg? Will USDC on the Pulse network be worth $1? I have no idea. Will the admins that control the admin keys for those fake cryptocurrencies just invalidate them all and risk having their users sue them? I have no idea, but we're going to find out real soon. We're going to find out real soon. There's some really, or algorithmic stablecoins going to be worth more because they don't require a dollar bank account to back them? Don't know. I can't wait to find out. This is going to be crazy. How many people are going to spend their time being rewarded as a liquidity provider to arb the difference between ETH versions of tokens and Pulse versions of tokens? How big does that market get? What is, you're just like, wow, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on here that's never been done before.
See, friends, as you get to see this, but like we said, like everyone says, but how do we back everything? Well, he's probably got an idea of the ratio you need to start it. Because here's the thing, friends, you know, if we all hold, all right, if we're all holding and it's moving towards $1, okay, if we're all holding and then the OA minced pDAI and then maybe smashes up incentive token, now incentive token gives big yield and then he puts up a farm, okay, people can come in and they close the peg or they tighten the peg themselves because they're earning yield. They enforce the peg harder on that. What happens when it all unwinds? Of course, but don't worry about that part, okay? We're here for the bull market. And just to show you how contrarian this is, friends, I just got a violent abusive message for pDAI in Telegram. I'm getting violently abused. And there's friends, there's coins everywhere, but I'm just saying, whoa, the pDAI one's like super, super, super triggering. Yes, and I question here, is this what HEX community influencers were getting back in 2020? So it's a wild experience. Why? Because I know they got it. I watched all the stories, friends. Matty Allen, Johnny, Crypto Coffee, everyone got abused hard. By the way, still get abused, okay? Still got abused. And I'm like, guys, it's happening the exact same thing to pDAI, guys. I can feel it in my bones. I'm literally getting scorned for this. The Pokemon community call me a pDAI guy. I'm not a pDAI guy. It's just, okay, but so it's so contrarian. They're like, oh, right? And I've said, it's a lottery ticket. It can go to zero, but man, the HEX violence came in 2020, friends, but then it pumped up 100x, okay? PulseChain DAI, the people's DAI. That's funny. Even Mr. Crypto Coffee replies, welcome to hell. You're doing great. So I'm just telling you now, friends, it's so contrarian, but it has Richard Hart's signature. That's why it's important to pay attention. And look, friends, I'm going to play this clip from Wendy-O. You got to listen to it, okay? Richard's going to say in it, Look at a stablecoin backed by crypto. I'm probably going to release a stablecoin, so I can't give away all the tricks. Let's listen to this.
Look at a stablecoin backed by crypto. Like, you know, I'm probably going to release a stablecoin at some point, so I don't want to give away all the tricks. So, you know, I'm rewarding people that have political beliefs that align with my own. And as time goes on, we have other things on the roadmap, like nation state. I think you can make a better nation. It's going to be god awful hard. So maybe the time frame is like 5 or 6 years from now. But why not? You know, why not carve out a special economic zone? That's how Shenzhen started. That's how Hong Kong started. Get a special economic zone somewhere and bang it out. You know, do something miraculous there. So that's on the roadmap too. But stablecoin and wallet and
see, friends, see, he's saying stablecoin backed by crypto. That's what the pDAI thing is. That's what it is, backed by PulseX, HEX, backed by crypto. It gets you the mint, the pDAI, he does the Hyperloop, okay? That's what it all comes down to. And everyone's always saying, what about the bread? Yeah, but basically, friends, you got to remember, you're playing a bull market, so we're here for the positive reinforcement, the snowball loop up, okay? So, you never, look, I'll be honest, I don't know what happens in the bear. Does incentive go so down that people start pulling their liquidity and things starts depegging? I don't know. Don't worry about that part. I'm just telling you this is the path up. It's like saying, okay, HEX is now 0.5 cent or 1 cent, and now it's 2020, and you're saying, oh, aren't people going to, like, you know, dump in a bear market? Yeah, bro, everything dumps in a bear market. Welcome. Okay, welcome. But you're going to miss that 50 cent part. That's the mid-curve part, friend. You can't mid-curve. You aren't mid-curve. By the way, if you're in PulseChain, you're going to get the big pump. Okay, it's just that this pDAI lets you do the bunny hopping part, which is, this is ungodly. Look, then it's not, pDAI's not going to go to $1 and everything else is still on the floor. The markets, they're moving along the same path, okay? But you can see it now. You can see it forming. Also funny, Aped in the Sun. Shout out to you, friend. I remember watching all these streams and was thinking, how's he going to do this? Now we know. Once in a lifetime chance. Big up Sommi and Ricardo. So there we go. So how's he going to do it? Yeah, he's figured some sort of ratio. He's like, oh, I don't actually need to fully back it. Like I said, friends, okay, if you want to fully back it, you need a $55,000 ETH. Okay, for the 10, what you got to do is, friends, you got to assume, okay, assume 5 billion won't be sold of the, remember there's 10, remember this number, 10.5 billion, maybe we've got to worry about 5.5 billion, okay, 5.5 billion, friends, is if you do a 170,000 ETH quantity on that, you need a price of 32,300 Ethereum, okay, that's for, like, hey, maybe Richard owns half the coins, he doesn't worry about it. He goes, okay, that's fully backed for that final portion. There's 5 billion. He's like, okay, fully backed for that. Maybe he doesn't need that, bro. Maybe he only needs 15,000. Maybe he only needs half. And maybe he's planning, okay, let's use the first portion to get liquidity to match the peg for everything else. You see? He's probably figured it out. Okay, so if you're on the sidelines, okay, I get it. Don't FOMO anything, glory to God. I'm explaining to you the narrative and the thesis and why everything else looks inferior now. Everything. So everything in PulseChain, double tick. But, you know, like heaps of ICOs and launch pad things. I'm like, bro, you ain't got this, man. This is unicorn stuff. No one knows what the hell's going on. It's so contrarian. People within the ecosystem don't even believe it. Like their minds are going to be blown. Is your mind already blowing about how this, like, he's figured out the ratio, friends. You go. He's figured it out. Richard Hart blowing your mind. It's like, oh, whoa. But everybody's a bit, we have a bit of that. We're a bit tender and sore from 2022 because we're so scared of freaking stablecoins depegging that, look, man, remember, friends, Luna still did 1,000x from the bottom. Okay. It did 1,000x first. Take profit along the way. Like, subscribe, baby, but don't catch you soon.